Welcome back to the Golf Channel's coverage of Live from the PGA Championship, presented by Callaway Golf.
On Thursday of last year's U.S. Open at Pinehurst, golf writer Craig Dolch took a phone call from his wife, Ava, telling him that their previously healthy teenage son was not feeling well. The family had been looking forward to a Bermuda cruise, but circumstances instead would take them through some troubled waters.
He was always the peacemaker in the family. Anytime we would argue or our kids would argue, he'd always be the one to try and settle things and try and be the diplomat of the group. He was just getting ready to go to high school. You're seeing his sense of humor. He was a funny guy. I mean, he's one of these guys in school that literally never had any problems, always got along with people. Eric and I played golf together, played basketball. His big sport is paintball. The last time I talked to my son, he seemed okay. We didn't talk long. Wanted to wish me a happy Father's Day. Monday morning, my wife called and said that she was really concerned about Eric because he didn't see him himself. She tried to wake him up. He wasn't really responding. He wasn't really interacting and saying appropriate things. So she knew she needed to take him to the emergency room. Something was clearly wrong, and we had no idea what we were dealing with. So at this point, my wife calls and says, you know, you need to come home. So then I got in the car from Pinehurst and started making the 12-hour drive home that, you know, seemed like it took 12,000 days.
That U.S. Open would be the last golf tournament Craig Dolch, 24 years a reporter, would cover for the Palm Beach Post before returning this week. Some 14 months ago, his son Eric, now 15, had been placed in a medically induced coma in order to limit the seizures brought on by encephalitis, an inflammation of the brain.
You walked in the room and he's got all the electrodes hooked up to his head, and I mean, you just wonder what in the world just happened. You know, I left my son, he was completely healthy a week before, no problems, you know, just everything was great, and by the time I came back, our world had changed. And as we would learn the next few days, I mean, it's changed. It's a life-changing event he's gone through and continues to go through. He was in a coma for 115 days, almost 4 months, and the doctors at Miami Children's said they had never had a child who had been in a coma that long for encephalitis.
From Miami Children's to a rehab in Boston and back to Miami, the cycle's unending. Progress, seizure, setback, still in intensive care.
He's conscious now, but in terms of interaction, I mean, we hold hands, we try and communicate however you can, but you know, the last conversation I had with my son was Father's Day a year and a half ago. And you just don't know at this point. You know, it's been over a year and we don't have answers to very basic questions. I mean, is he going to be able to see? Is he going to be able to walk? Is he going to be able to talk? Is he going to be able to have a functioning life? We still don't know the answers to that.
Craig has spent most nights at a hotel near the hospital, often going days without seeing his 17-year-old daughter Alexandra or his wife of 18 years, Ava, who through it all continues to hold down her job with a prominent Palm Beach realtor. The strain compounded by spiraling medical costs, the family found helping hands wherever they turned. At Raymond Floyd's Old Palm in South Florida in March, Tim Rosafort organized a fundraiser with help from Raymond and wife Maria.
We're here as a community to show them our support, both spiritually and financially, to help them overcome this tremendous load.
Jack and Barbara Nicholas, Don Shula, and so many members of the tightly knit community came together.
If there was ever an instance of there but for the grace of God, I think this is it. And I think it's really important that we all understand that Eric is not Craig and Ava's son. He's all of our sons. He's all of our kids.
From all across this game, support rolled in.
Hi, Eric. I wish you a very speedy recovery.
I'm really looking forward to hopefully seeing you out on the golf course. That would be great.
Hang in there. Keep working to get back.
Keep thinking good thoughts. See you on the course soon.
The outpouring of support that they showed to the Dolches that night from a financial standpoint and also from a spiritual standpoint, lifting him up and giving him some strength, I think helped him get through the year, helped him get to this point. No surprise, though. I mean, when you're around the sport for 25 years, you see what these guys do and how much time they put into charitable causes, and it's not a surprise.
We don't focus on that as much as we probably should because people want to know who wins the tournaments. But you know, you look at every single PGA Tour stop gives millions of dollars to charity over the years. Other sports don't do that.
And now Craig's back in the sport he loves almost as much as basketball. A hobbled old high school hoopster who still likes to mix it up at his local gym.
It is an emotional week because I've seen a lot of people that I have not seen in 14 months since the U.S. Open.
A lot of us have known Craig for years, and it's just heartbreaking. How can he do a day's work with this hanging over him and his wife? And you know, that's why he was gone for so long, and it's good to see him back.
I mean, in some ways it's great to come back out here and get your mind off of it because you can think about, you can't help but think about it. You think about it 6,000 times a day. You wake up, it's your first thought. I'm not a doctor, but I get the sense that it's almost like Eric is going to be reborn again. You know, obviously we know he's going to have long-term issues for the rest of his life. I just want him to be able to have I don't want him lying in a bed for the rest of his life. I want him to be able to, like everyone, just to have as much of a life as he can get, and that's what you fight for every day when you get in there.
You know, I've covered sports for 25 years, so I've been around some of the toughest athletes in the world. But this Eric Dolch kid is amazing. I've never in my lifetime thought of or been around anyone who is stronger than this kid is.
It may take months, it may take years, but you know, we know at some point we're going to be taking him home with us.
Well, in the last few days, happily, a ray of hope. Eric Dolch is going home for the first time in 14 months, stabilized for the time being. He is conscious, displaying different emotions. He even cried, still not talking, still with a very long road ahead. The Dolches, with help from the likes of Nick Price, Olin Brown, Tim Rosefort, and so many others, have begun a foundation in order to raise awareness, raise money for encephalitis research. And here's how you can help, and certainly we hope you do. For more information on the Eric Dolch Foundation and to donate, go to www.ericdolchfoundation.org. And we'll be back with more right after this.